In a time long ago, Africa's lands were divided by two mighty kingdoms. The kingdom of Omuara, ruled by the formidable king Adewale, and the kingdom of Ekwen, led by the proud Queen Ifema, had been locked in a bitter war for generations. Rivers ran red with battles, and peace seemed an impossible dream. Amid the chaos, destiny stirred. Princess Amara of Omuara and Prince Oba of Ekwen, heirs to rival thrones, met by chance at the river that separated their lands. From the first glance, a forbidden love ignited, one that could unite the kingdoms or bring total destruction. Before we continue, please like this video, subscribe to the channel and let us know where you are watching from in the comment below. The golden sun rose over the savannas of Omuara, painting the tall grasses with hues of amber and crimson. The kingdom stretched wide, with mud brick palaces crowned with carved wooden roofs and marketplaces bustling with black African merchants selling colorful fabrics, spices, and carved figurines. Birds of brilliant feathers darted across the sky, filling the morning with song. Inside the palace, Princess Amara, the only daughter of King Adewale, stood at her balcony, overlooking the river that split Omuara from the rival kingdom of Ekwen. She was 16, with ebony skin that gleamed like polished mahogany and eyes as sharp as a hawk's. Her hair was braided with golden beads, symbols of her royal heritage. She often felt trapped by the golden walls of her palace, yearning to see the lands beyond her kingdom. "Amara," her maid whispered, bowing low. "Breakfast awaits. Your father calls you." Amara shook her head, a small smile on her lips. "Not today," she murmured. "Today, I will walk to the river." She slipped out through the servants' gate, moving silently past the guards. The morning air smelled of wet earth and fresh blooms. She ran along the riverbank, listening to the gentle rippling of water over smooth stones. Across the river, in Ekwen, Prince Oba practiced his sword techniques. He was tall and strong, the heir of Queen Ifema, with a calm but commanding presence. His movements were precise, almost like a dance. Each strike and parry shimmered in the sunlight. Yet, in his heart, he felt the same longing as Amara, the desire for more than the endless conflict his kingdom demanded. Amara froze when she saw him. Across the sparkling water, their eyes met for the first time. A strange recognition passed between them, though neither understood why. "Who dares to wander the banks of Ekwen at dawn?" Oba called, raising his sword, though his voice betrayed curiosity more than threat. "I could ask the same of you, Prince of Ekwen," Amara replied boldly, her voice clear and steady, carrying across the river. The river shimmered between them, reflecting their faces and the tension in the air. "You are brave, or foolish," Oba said, lowering his sword slightly. "I am neither," Amara replied, her chin raised. "I am simply curious. Curious why two kingdoms cannot live in peace." Oba's brow furrowed. "And do you think one princess's curiosity can change centuries of war?" Amara smiled faintly. "Perhaps not, but maybe it can start something new." For a moment, silence hung over the river. Birds chirped nervously, sensing the tension. The water itself seemed to pause, shimmering like molten glass. Curiosity overcame caution. Both heirs lowered their defenses. "You are not like the others," Oba said, sheathing his sword. "Most children of Omuara only dream of riches, jewels, and power." "And you, Prince Oba, are not like your soldiers," Amara replied. "They only speak of conquest and glory." They shared stories of their royal lives, secret fears, sleepless nights, the loneliness of being an heir. They laughed softly, realizing how much they had in common despite their kingdom's hatred. "You speak like a friend," Oba said, a hint of surprise in his voice. "Though I should hate you." "And I you," Amara whispered. "Yet I do not." The river spirit appears. Suddenly, the water in the river stirred violently. Mist rose, and a shimmering figure appeared, a river spirit, with skin like liquid silver and eyes glowing like moonlight. "Princess Amara." "Prince Oba, beware," the spirit intoned, voice echoing like the river's current. "Love between heirs of warring kingdoms is forbidden. It brings danger, heartbreak, and blood. Yet, destiny sometimes weaves a path even fate fears to tread." The figure faded, leaving a faint sparkle in the river. Amara shivered but felt a strange hope. "What does it mean?" she asked, gripping a smooth stone. It means, we must be careful, Oba said, staring at the spot where the spirit vanished. Careful, or our families will destroy us. The sound of drums from the Omuara palace echoed in the distance. Guards patrolled the riverbank. Return to your kingdom, Oba whispered. Before someone sees you. Amara nodded, her heart racing, and ran along the bank. She glanced back at Oba, their eyes locking once more. In that fleeting moment, both understood that something dangerous and beautiful had begun. Little did they know, royal spies from both kingdoms had already noticed movements along the river. Rumors would spread fast, and soon, the love that had just sparked would ignite storms neither kingdom could contain. Night fell over the savannas of Omuara. The golden sunlight had faded, leaving the land bathed in silver moonlight. The river, which separated Omuara and Ekwen, reflected the stars like 1,000 scattered diamonds. Crickets chirped, and the cool breeze rustled the tall grass. Princess Amara could not sleep. Thoughts of Prince Oba haunted her. She knew their kingdoms were enemies, yet her heart had felt a connection stronger than fear. Quietly, she slipped from her chamber, careful to avoid the guards patrolling the palace grounds. Across the river, Prince Oba had done the same. He moved silently through the trees, carrying a small leather satchel. In it were gifts, tokens of friendship, and perhaps something more. As the riverbank came into view, their eyes met. Moonlight danced on the water, illuminating their faces. Amara, Oba whispered. You came. I could not stay away, she replied, stepping closer to the water's edge. I keep thinking, if only we could meet without fear, without swords. Oba extended his hand across the river. Though they could not touch, the gesture was symbolic, an unspoken promise of trust. The young royals sat near the water, hiding among reeds and river rocks. Oba opened his satchel and revealed a small golden medallion engraved with the emblem of Ekwen, a sunburst over a river. I want you to have this, Oba said. To remember me, and to remind you that not all of Ekwen is your enemy. Amara's eyes shone as she reached into her own satchel. She handed him a carved wooden bird, painted with bright colors of Omuara. This is for you, she said softly. So you know Omuara is not all war and anger. They exchanged gifts with reverent hands, the moment almost sacred. The river rippled gently, as if blessing their secret. Do you think our families would ever understand this? Amara asked, her voice trembling. Oba shook his head slowly. Not now, but perhaps one day, if we are brave enough. They spoke at length about their lives as heirs to thrones. Both confessed the loneliness of being royalty, the endless responsibilities, the fear of disappointing their people, and the weight of centuries of hatred. I do not want to fight anymore, Oba said, leaning close. I want to see our kingdoms prosper, together, not destroy each other. Amara nodded, her heart aching. I dream of peace too. But how can we hope for peace if our parents' hearts are full of anger? Oba smiled faintly, reaching toward the river. Perhaps, if we lead by example, we can show them a new way. Love instead of hate. For the first time, they felt not like heirs of warring kingdoms, but simply two young souls connected by fate. Suddenly, the mist rose from the river, and the familiar shimmer appeared, the river spirit, more radiant than before. You have chosen to meet again, the spirit said, voice flowing like water over stone. Your hearts are brave, but danger surrounds you. Spies watch, and betrayal lurks in shadow. Take this charm. It will conceal your secret meetings, but remember, if it is broken, the consequences will be dire. Oba took the charm, a small crystal carved in the shape of a river wave. He tied it around his neck. Amara took a similar one, clasping it over her heart. Thank you, Amara whispered. We will honor it. The spirit's eyes glowed. Your love may be the key to peace, or the spark of ruin. Be wise, young heirs. Then, with a shimmer of moonlight, the spirit vanished, leaving only a soft echo of flowing water. Unknown to them, a spy from Ekwen had been watching. Hidden in the reeds, the figure saw the prince and princess exchange gifts and speak closely. Heart pounding, the spy ran silently back to Queen Ephema, reporting what they had seen. Across the river, A guard from Omuara also noticed movement near the water. He frowned suspiciously and hurried to report it to King Adewale. Neither royal heir noticed the danger creeping ever closer. Their hearts were too full of trust, hope, and the first bloom of forbidden love. Oba whispered, "We must be careful. One mistake, and all is lost." Amara nodded, gripping her charm. "I know, but I cannot stop coming here. Not when I feel this." They parted at the riverbank, each disappearing into the shadows of their respective kingdoms, hearts racing, minds full of questions, and a love that grew stronger with each secret meeting. As Amara returned to Omuara Palace, she could not shake the feeling that the river itself was watching. She sensed the danger approaching, spies, royal suspicion, and the inevitable clash of duty and desire. Oba, hiding in the Ekwen forest, stared at the river, thinking of Amara. "I will protect her, even if it means defying my mother," he whispered. Little did they know, these first secret meetings would mark the beginning of a love story that could unite kingdoms, or tear them apart forever. Morning broke over Ekwen, painting the forested kingdom in shades of gold and green. Birds called from the treetops, but inside the palace, a storm of anger brewed. The spy who had watched Prince Oba meet Princess Amara the night before bowed deeply before Queen Efima. "My queen," the spy whispered. The prince, he met the princess of Omuara. They exchanged gifts and spoke as friends. Queen Efima's face darkened like a thundercloud. "What nonsense is this? Our enemies do not deserve friendship. How dare my son consort with the enemy's princess?" Meanwhile, across the river in Omuara, King Adewale paced in his chamber as a messenger reported the same thing. "Amara," the king growled. "Our daughter, consorting with the Prince of Ekwen. Guards! Find her immediately." The royal heirs, once hidden in shadows, were now targets of suspicion and wrath from both kingdoms. At the Omuara palace, Amara's chambers were suddenly surrounded by guards. Her heart pounded as she realized her secret was no longer safe. "Princess, you are under guard," the captain of the guard said sternly. "Your father demands answers." Amara bowed her head but refused to speak at first. Her thoughts raced. "Oba, what will happen to us?" Across the river, Oba faced a similar fate. Queen Efima summoned him to the throne room, her eyes flashing with fury. "You have betrayed your kingdom, your people, and your duty," she thundered. "Do you think love can erase generations of war?" Oba's jaw tightened. "Mother, I do not wish to betray anyone. I only wish for peace. I only wish for love." "You will obey your kingdom, or you will face exile," Queen Efima said coldly. Despite the royal wrath, Amara and Oba refused to abandon their meetings. They met in secret under the cover of night, aided by the river spirit and hidden paths through reeds and forests. "Oba," Amara whispered one night, holding the river charm close to her heart, "they will never forgive us. We must be cautious." "I know," he replied, grasping her hands. "But hiding forever. I cannot. I will fight for us. I will fight for peace." They discussed ways to prevent the war from escalating, hoping their courage and wisdom might save their kingdoms from destruction. Word of their meetings spread like wildfire. Small squads from both kingdoms began patrolling the river more aggressively. One fateful night, a misunderstanding erupted into the first skirmish in months. Omuara soldiers spotted Ekwen scouts near the river. Misreading their intentions as an attack, they sounded the horns. Oba's men, seeing the horns, assumed Omuara had begun an ambush. Steel clashed, arrows flew, and the riverbank became a scene of chaos. Amidst the battle, Oba and Amara narrowly escaped, diving into a hidden cave the river spirit had once mentioned. Inside, the cave was damp and cold, lit by faint glowing moss. They clung to each other, hearts racing. "If we are discovered now," Amara said, shivering, "it will be the end for us, and perhaps the end of everything." Oba held her close. "Then we must be clever. We must survive, and find a way to stop this war." The battle left both kingdoms shaken. Families mourned casualties. King Adewale and Queen Efima, blinded by anger, blamed the other kingdom entirely. Amara wept silently in her chambers, unable to reconcile love with duty. She thought of Oba, wondering if he had survived. Her heart ached for the first time in her life, not because of battle, but because of love forbidden by birthright. Oba, in Ekwen, sat alone in the palace garden. The wounds from the skirmish had left him bruised, but he felt stronger in resolve. "I will not let hatred rule our lives," he whispered to the night sky. That night, the river spirit appeared again, shimmering with silver light. "You have survived the first wave of conflict," the spirit said, voice flowing like water. "But greater trials await. Betrayal is close. Hearts will be tested. Choose wisely, for your love now carries the fate of kingdoms." Amara and Oba knelt together, touching the charms that glowed faintly in the moonlight. "We must be brave," Oba said. "We must show them that love is stronger than war." "Yes," Amara agreed. "Even if it costs us everything, we must try." The kingdoms prepare for another clash. Spies, angry soldiers, and royal advisors stir suspicion. Yet, amidst danger and betrayal, the secret love between the heirs grows stronger, like a small flame in the dark, fragile yet unyielding. Love has begun to weave its path, but every path of love comes with shadows. How long can their hearts endure before the storms of duty and war tear them apart? The war between Omuara and Ekwen had grown fiercer, leaving both kingdoms drained and fearful. Princess Amara and Prince Oba knew that words alone would never stop the bloodshed. They needed action, a bold move that could force their parents to see reason. One moonlit night, hidden in the cave beneath the river, they gathered a small group of trusted young warriors from both kingdoms. Kano, a fearless Omuara scout with quick reflexes. Adiz, Oba's cousin from Ekwen, wise and courageous. Chaik, a black African blacksmith's son with knowledge of secret pathways. Layla, a healer who could tend wounds in the dark. Amara spoke first, her voice steady but urgent. "We must retrieve the sacred peace horns from both kingdoms. Only by sounding them together can we invoke the ancient truce." Oba nodded, holding her hand briefly. "It will be dangerous. Guards, spies, and magic protection surround them. But if we succeed, peace will finally have a chance." Kano grinned. "We're ready, Princess. Lead us." The first horn was in Omuara, guarded in the king's treasury. Amara led her team through secret corridors she had memorized as a child. Shadows clung to them, and even the faintest noise could alert the guards. Oba whispered, "Move slowly, the guards' patrols are timed to the second." They reached the vault, carved with golden symbols and protected by ancient locks. Chaik carefully picked the mechanisms while Layla whispered a quiet chant to shield them from detection. Finally, the horn appeared, a bronze horn etched with the image of the sun rising over the river. Amara's fingers trembled as she lifted it. "This is it," she breathed. "The first step toward peace." Carrying the horn, the team crossed the river in canoes under moonlight. The water shimmered like silver, hiding their movements. The forest of Ekwen loomed ahead, dense and mysterious. Oba guided them, pointing out hidden paths. "We must avoid the northern watchtower. Patrols change every hour." Halfway across, the water stirred unnaturally. The river spirit appeared again, shimmering with a soft glow. "You are on the right path," the spirit intoned. "Courage alone will not be enough. Trust each other completely, and listen to the river." Amara clutched her charm. "We will." Reaching Ekwen, they encountered the second horn, kept in a high tower, heavily guarded. Adiz whispered, "Only the eldest warrior can distract the guards. We move in pairs." Oba took the lead with Kano, while Amara and Layla scaled the vines along the palace wall, reaching the tower window silently. Inside, the horn gleamed, a silver horn adorned with flowing rivers and carved animals. Amara lifted it, feeling a pulse of energy. The magic of the horn seemed to recognize her as a royal heir. Suddenly, a floorboard creaked. A guard's shadow fell across the room. Layla quickly stepped forward, throwing a small pouch of powder that released smoke and sound, confusing the guard. The team slipped past, hearts pounding. With both horns in their possession, the team fled through secret tunnels, relying on the river spirit's guidance. Branches scratched their faces, and muddy water soaked their feet, but their resolve did not waver. Oba and Amara exchanged brief glances, their hands brushing. Each touch reminded them of what they were fighting for, not only peace, but love. As dawn approached, they reached the neutral clearing at the river's center, where the mist from the river hung low. "We did it," Amara whispered. "Now, we sound the horns together. Let this magic bring peace." Kano and Chaik helped position the horns, while Layla whispered protective chants. Oba and Amara raised the horns, their hands trembling but steady. Just as they prepared to blow the horns, movement in the shadows revealed the elders of both kingdoms, arriving unexpectedly. Their faces were stern, eyes filled with suspicion. "Who dares?" King Adiwale's voice boomed. "Who dares unite our heirs without permission?" Queen Ifema's tone cut like a blade. Amara and Oba stood side by side, courage radiating. Oba spoke first, voice clear and strong. "We dare because the kingdoms have suffered enough. We dare because love and peace are stronger than hate and war." A tense silence followed, broken only by the soft rippling of the river. The fate of their daring plan, and of their love, hung in the balance. Dawn broke over the river that divided Omuara and Ekwen, painting the sky with crimson and gold. Mist rose from the water like a veil, and the river sparkled as if alive. Princess Amara and Prince Oba stood side by side in the neutral clearing, holding the sacred peace horns. Around them, elders, guards, and soldiers from both kingdoms watched with suspicion and awe. King Adiwale stepped forward, eyes blazing. "Amara, Oba, how dare you defy your kingdoms? How dare you bring us together in this folly?" Queen Ifema's voice rang out. "Do you not understand the danger of your actions? You risk everything, our kingdoms, our people, even your own lives." Amara's voice was calm, yet carried authority beyond her years. "Father, mother, I know it seems dangerous. But look at what our kingdoms have become. Bloodshed, sorrow, hatred. Oba and I, we are asking not for rebellion, but for peace." Oba added, stepping forward, his voice firm. "Our love is not a threat, it is a bridge. Let us sound the horns together. Let the river show you the path to unity." Amara lifted the Omuara horn, Oba lifted the Ekwen horn, and together, they blew. A deep, resonant sound rolled across the river, echoing through forests, savannas, and valleys. The river began to glow, silver and golden light swirling around the horns. Mist rose higher, forming shapes of animals, trees, and ancestors of both kingdoms. The river spirit appeared, larger and more radiant than ever. Its voice echoed in everyone's mind. "Behold the power of unity, the strength of love. Let hatred fade, and let peace reign." The soldiers gasped, shields lowering instinctively. The elders stepped back, awe and disbelief written on their faces. As the magic from the horns spread, the river shimmered into a sparkling bridge, connecting Omuara and Ekwen. Weapons rusted and fell from soldiers' hands as if refusing violence. Birds, once silent from the tension, sang across both kingdoms. Trees along the river bent gently, welcoming the unity. King Adiwale looked at the river, then at Amara and Oba, his eyes softening. Perhaps our children see what we cannot," he murmured. Queen Ifema stepped forward, hand on her chest. "Love, courage, and sacrifice. Perhaps it truly can conquer hate." With the kingdoms watching, Amara and Oba stepped onto the river bridge. Flowers fell from the sky like rain, and the river spirit blessed the union. The elders declared, "By the power of the sacred horns and the courage of the royal heirs, Omuara and Ekwen shall unite as one. The princess of Omuara and the prince of Ekwen shall be wed as symbols of harmony, peace, and hope." Amara and Oba exchanged vows, their hands clasped tightly. "I vow to honor our kingdoms, to love you, and to lead with courage," Amara said. Oba smiled, eyes shining. "I vow to protect our love, our people, and our future, together." The river sparkled brighter than ever, sending shimmering ripples across both lands. The kingdoms erupted in joy. Soldiers embraced, elders smiled, and citizens from both sides gathered to witness the historic moment. Markets opened, music played, and dances celebrated the first day of peace in generations. And so, The forbidden love of two young heirs became the spark that ended war. Through courage, trust, and devotion, Amara and Oba united their kingdoms, and their hearts, forever. The river, once a boundary, became a bridge of hope. And the legacy of love would echo through the ages. Scene 6. Closing reflection. As night fell over the united kingdoms, the river shimmered under moonlight, a symbol of eternal unity. Amara and Oba stood hand in hand, looking at the horizon, dreams of a peaceful reign in their eyes. The river spirit appeared one last time, nodding in approval before vanishing into the mist. If you enjoyed this story, please us a like, let us know where you are watching from in the comment below, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our next captivating story filled with love, lesson, and unforgettable moment.